Well, hello, my fabulous friends. Welcome to one of my mystery readings. Today, I'm going to read about Atlantis. Now, I'm not even going to go start with is Atlantis real or is it not or whatever. My personal belief is it's real, and it's not just a belief; it's a research I've done. I've researched and researched and researched. I don't know if any of you know, I've been all over the world studying mysteries, everything from Mount Shasta to the pyramids to Stonehenge. Oh, I can't even remember all the places that I've been. And all my studies show that Atlantis was a thing. Atlantis wasn't the first world on Earth. That would be Lemuria. Lemuria was first. Lemuria was destroyed, and the people from Lemuria went across North America, South America, and they landed on an island that at that point was in the Atlantic. So it was Lemuria, and then Atlantis, and then the world as we know it today. So I'm going to use the Voyager Tarot because we're going on a bit of a voyage today. And I just have some questions about Atlantis, and so I thought we would all read them together. So, without further ado, let's get started. This Voyager Tarot I've had for years and years, and actually in 2009, when we moved to Europe, it was one of the decks that I brought with me. So I'm really connected to this deck. I really love this deck. And this is actually my second deck. My first deck is kind of worn out. So I have this newer deck. And but it still is attached to me. I want to make sure, because I don't read these ones in reverse. Okay. This is a great, great deck for self-discovery and just, it's kind of spacey and I like it. Like when any kind of mysteries like that I want to read on. So I'm going to read on Atlantis. First thing is, of course, I believe in Atlantis. If you don't, feel free to skip this video and watch something else. I've got so many other videos to offer you. I won't be offended at all. So I'm going to ask, is anybody from Atlantis still with us today? Right? I mean, they're like, look at Elon Musk. What about Nikola Tesla? Ooh, Woman of Wands. Censor. Yes, there is. There's a female. Who's a female censor? Woman of Wands. This would be somebody who's very psychic. Well, yeah, that's part of it. The Atlantis, they use a lot of telepathy. So yes, there is. There's definitely. So we got one for sure, and it would be a woman that everybody would know. So let me know who you think that is, and I'll try and think as I continue to shuffle. So I want to see if the cards will let us know how many. How many? 3 of Worlds, nurturing, and 6 of Cups, sorrow. So see, if I saw that, I would think Mother Teresa, but she's not with us today. She's not with us today. So who is alive with us today? Who is alive with us today? Who is alive with us today? And that is still from Atlantis or Atlantis DNA. Right? Because just the island went down. There's a lot of people that survived. All right. Woman of Wands showed up again. Okay, so definitely a female. Oppression. Oh, the Fool. Balance. 8 of Cups, stagnation. I think with this Fool child and this oppression, I think it's somebody who's still quite young, and she might be, because stagnation might be in school. Like, right? Might be too young right now. Art. Okay, so she's gonna be very artistic. Woman of crystal. So females. So we got two females. Woman of crystal and balance. Fortune. Okay, so it's definitely a female who has very artistic and has a lot of money. Has a lot of art. Um, a lot of money. So it could be maybe an actress or a singer or like any kind of performer. Six of Wands. Okay, so she's won many awards. This woman of crystals here. Eight of crystals, synthesis. Oh, she's a singer. A singer. Who's a singer? Rejoicer, woman of cups. Okay, so we have three. We didn't get any kings whatsoever. We've got the females. We've got one female who is already out in the world. She's been very successful, has won awards for her art. So that could be singer, artist. Actually could be an artist. We could be. So who seems kind of spacey, and I mean that in the most loving, honest way. So we also have another woman of cups. We have somebody who, this would be maybe a religious leader or a very passionate leader. And we have a woman of wands. We have three women on the table. But look at this. I think the woman of wands, I think, is just a young girl. That's the first one that came up. I think that's a young girl that is still with that oppression. I think she's, I don't believe she's in prison or anything like that, but she's in school and she just doesn't have the ability to come out into the world quite yet. But she will. She will. We have this other one that's obviously a performer. Who's a performer that we all love, that we all think that they've got like a special message for us. And then a rejoicer. So I would say that this is somebody who, I don't know if this rejoicer is like that famous, or I'm getting like somebody who teaches us how to have balanced emotions. And what's underneath? Achiever. Oh, finally, man of worlds. Finally, oh, this is the King of Pentacles. Is this Elon Musk? Is this right? Look at the space. Somebody who runs ahead of the pack, a little bit younger, with all these old men behind him. I'm just getting, because it's kind of spacey up in the air, and he has SpaceX. I wonder if that's Elon. Logic. Yeah, I think that's Elon. Five of Worlds, setback. Yeah, he bought Twitter. Look at that. And it's blue. Commencement, Four of Worlds. And Knower, Sage of Crystals. Four of Wands, aspiration. So we have another smart person here. A knower, Sage of Crystals. Look at that's even Albert Einstein on there. And I mentioned there's somebody like, so who is actually very scientific but very cold, right, with the logic. And to me, this would be the ultimate Atlantean, right? They were these, tall men, and they were very logic, very the Vulcan on Star Trek. He represents the Atlantis archetype. What the heck was his name? He was the Vulcan, the guy who did the V symbol. You know who I mean? He had pointy ears and whatnot, and he was very logical, very smart. I think that's when I think of an Atlantean, that's the Atlantean archetype. So we have two men showed up here. We had three women show up there, two men show up here. Aspiration. And I think I think these people know each other. They recognize each other. I have to wonder if this one child isn't a child of one of the others. Isn't that interesting? The women are more artistic, and we got, you know, a little bit more guardian and rejoicer, trust, right? Very female archetypes and emotions or things that you think of more feminine. Versus the men showed up and their logic and their you know aspiration and their commencement and let's go, let's hustle, right? You know, they get a setback and then they keep going and you know just that hustle culture that I don't like that, you know, work until you die kind of hustle. So yeah, so we got this showed us there's five. I honestly think this one woman of wands that showed up twice with as the fool. I think she's still too young. We don't know exactly where she is because the stagnation card was here. I think she's going to be the most important one though because she showed up first. I think as these ones age out, it's nice to know there's ones coming behind. So yeah, we do have some people from Atlantis. Their DNA is still alive and well with us here on Earth. I think this is Elon. I really do. This achiever. I honestly do. I don't. To me, it doesn't matter when his birthday is. I don't really associate these cards with astrology as much. I go strictly by the name and the illustrations on here. Yeah, I think this is Elon. And then we have another one here, one that's older than Elon. This knower, this sage of crystals, somebody who's extremely book smart. Maybe he's into physics. He might be associated with Elon with his space. Right. Look at. I just noticed there's a galaxy there, so he might be associated with Elon. Like I'm thinking, for the Apollo missions and whatnot, wasn't there that really smart man, one smart man who developed the engines and or the motor? I don't know. I know I shouldn't speak out of turn, but I remember there was somebody who developed, and without him, they would have never made it. So I'm wondering if this is when Elon they've recognized each other, and have this commitment. Interesting. Okay, so there are some that are still on, the DNA is still alive and well. The DNA is still alive and well. So I'm going to clear that. So my next question is, and I've always wondered, and like I said, I've been to Egypt, I've been to inside the pyramid. I actually have friends in Egypt, and she's married to a one of the original tribes there. And just as we have tribes here in North America that have certain rights to their artifacts, he has certain rights to the pyramid area. And I was afforded all kinds of special access, and I called it the Magical Mystery Tour. I had more time inside the Great Pyramid, just with them and myself. No other people were allowed in for 30 minutes. Even Barack Obama only got 10 minutes, and Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie only got 10 minutes. I got 30 minutes because of who I know, and I've always been ever so grateful for that. I have pictures of me laying in this sarcophagus, and wow, amazing. And look at that, Empress, and look at that's an Egyptian. Yeah, and there's Mount Shasta. I've been to Mount Shasta. And my name means peace. It's a white dove. Shanta means peace. These cards are amazing. Okay, so did the Atlanteans go to Egypt? And is the Sphinx and the pyramids, is that all from Atlantis? Did the Atlanteans go to Egypt? 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 Cards are ready. Oh, the universe. Oh. Well, that's the world card in tarot. Synthesis. Child of worlds, player. Actor, man of wands. Time, space. Judgment. We have the world and judgment, second chance. Yeah, well, as their world was sinking, they had to come up with a plan, and so they moved on. I think they did with this time space. That was their second chance. They didn't all go under. They didn't. As it was going under, this Eight of Crystals, which is the Eight of Pentacles, which is working on something. They were trying to work on something. I think they took their mastery there. This Child of Worlds is the child of the Knight of Pentacles. So they came with their Knight of Pentacles, their Page of Pentacles. They came to Egypt and trying to sell what they know. The Man of Wands is the King of Wands. And if you look at the King of Wands, it's in the desert with the pyramids behind it. And that's where they got their second chance. Child of Cups. Three of Worlds, nurturing. Two of Crystals. I don't think they were quite welcome there. I don't think so. They did make a plan. They did. Oh, compassion, Three of Wands. Strength. Well, they definitely went to Africa. And if you look, that's King Tut's. Well, not necessarily King Tut's, but that was their pillows, the Pharaoh's pillows. That's what they laid on. Comfortable, hey? There's a lion there. The moon. Or did they go to Athens? Greece? Let's look and see. Well, there's the Greek pillars. I know that's the universe. That's their world ending. This is the world card. So that's endings, end of chapter where they were. They had to use all their mastery to make sure that they got the hell out of there. They knew it was coming. And then where they went to, they had to actor. Why is that King of Wands an actor? Sometimes you have to wonder what the meaning here they're showing. I think that is just not being at home anymore. They had to assimilate to where they were, right? So you're acting like where you are in your new community because they do have a second chance. Feeler. I think they knew they knew they had to get going. Nurturing. Maybe they took some food with them. Did they go to Greece? That Chariot. I think they went to Greece. Look at that's Apollo. That's Athena. That's Apollo. Mind you, though, there is a Egyptian stele there with a chariot. Let's see. Let's continue. Man of crystals, inventor. Well, yeah, they were inventors. Hermit. Okay, we do have some Egypt on there. 10 of crystals, delusion. Oh, and sun, king tut. The tower. That's the end of that's Atlantis going down. That's Atlantis going down. I think they went to both. I think they split it between Greece and Egypt. When you look on the Med Sea, they're both right there. They're both right there. But I mean, come on, that's King Tut. I'm not. So maybe they were King Tut. But I think they split it. I think they split it between Egypt and Greece. I think they split it. I think they took their technology with them. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they because this is the chariot and we have Greece and Egypt on here. And then they took their inventions with them and they took their inventions and their money and their skills and because their own place was kaput. Look at that. It's even look at like the volcano part there. The earth opening up and swallowing them. Oh, look at that. The clock agrees with me. All right. So they did. They went to Greece and Egypt. And that's where they scattered to. That's where they scattered to. All right. So that's where they went. We know there's some that are still around today. They went to Greece and Egypt. Now I want to ask what do I want to ask? What do the cards want to tell me about Atlantis? That's what I want to ask. I want to let the cards tell me what do I need to know about Atlantis? Tell me what I need to know about Atlantis. Tell me what I need to know about Atlantis. Tell me what I need to know about Atlantis. Tell me what I need to know about Atlantis. Tell me what I need to know about Atlantis. Tell me the most important thing that I need to know about Atlantis. Tell me what's the most important thing I need to know about Atlantis. Tell me what's the most important thing I need to know about Atlantis. Cards are ready. Woman of Wands again. This is the third time this has shown up. So maybe it's women who are psychic can pick up what's going on in Atlantis. Regenerator. Oh, is Atlantis coming back? Man of Worlds. Is Atlantis coming back? Six of Worlds, synergy. Passion, 10 of Cups. Is Atlantis coming back? Are they going to be victorious? Is Atlantis coming back? Nine of Crystals, narrowness. Growth, 10 of Wands. Look at, I wonder. 10 of Worlds. Look at all these worlds coming together. Reward. Sage of Wands, Seer. The Shamans, no. Negativity, 5 of Crystals. Harvest, 9 of Worlds. Harvest. I think they are. I think Hermit. I think, and the Priestess. Look at that's from Egypt. Nefertiti. The Moon. Ace of Wands, illumination. Ace of Cups, ecstasy. Love, 3 of Cups. Oh my God, I think we're going to see a resurrection of Atlantis or Atlantean ideals or, oh my God. I think Look at that, illumination, ecstasy, and love. It's giving us a direction how to get there. Look, the moon is uh, reflection on yourself. We have lots and lots of female energy here. The moon, the high priestess, the censor. Like, look at the passion. The only male we have here is the hermit. But we have the ace of cups, the ace of wands, the three of cups, which is love, regenerator, achiever, synergy. I think we're coming into the age of Aquarius, which is the age of Atlantis. I think we're going to see a resurrection of a. I'm not saying that their island is going to pop out of the Atlantic Ocean. Not at all. I think maybe the ideals of Atlantis are going to start to illuminate the earth. I think we're going to start to really enjoy. I think this might be our way out of the darkness that's right now. Is embrace the ideals of Atlantis to break the darkness that's over the planet right now. Wow. So use the law and use it in such a balanced masculine female. Use it the logic of the males with the warmth and passion of the females and get back into balance. I think that's exactly what we have to do. We all have to look within. We all have to look at the illumination. We all have to look at what we are hiding. We all have to look at the truth. Right now, we are being blindsided. And I think we need to start looking at the truth of things and where we're going in our world. Because what we're seeing is all an illusion. It's all an illusion. We can turn it all around with the ideals of Atlantis. Well, isn't that cool? I have one more question. This is going to tie it into the royal readings. Now, there is many, and there's proof actually that there was a pharaoh Akhenaten, and he was trying to get rid of the corrupt priesthood there. And so he wiped out the priesthood and said there's only one God. Back then, they were believed in many different gods, and therefore the priests could corrupt you quite easily and make you pay for favors. And you once you're hooked into paying for one god, well, then you've upset this god, so now you got to pay that god, and it was really bankrupting people. And so he wiped out the priesthood in Egypt, and he was very hated for it. Because he said, and I'm sure you've seen him and his wife Nefertiti holding their hands up with their three children towards the sun, and the sun's rays are coming down. That's Akhenaten. I wish I had a picture here. So anyways, when they overtook him, and King Tut was his son. King Tut was the next in line, and King Tut was very young when he became king, like teenager young, and he was threatened with his life, so he brought back the priesthood. And then the priests were happy, and they ended up killing him anyways, and putting their own person on the throne. But that's another story. But where I'm going with this is one of the three daughters that has her son hands up, and the sun is coming down. One of the daughters escaped and went, and her name was Scotia. And the myth is that Nova Scotia and Scotia, Scotland, is named after her. So the rumor is that she went to Scotland, and that Scotland is named after her. And actually, there is a place in Ireland called Scotia's Grave. Scotia, Scotia's grave. And that we just witnessed the stone of destiny, the stone that is in Scotland, that looks like a pyramid stone that was dragged from Egypt, that this is the story that has been handed down. And there are, I'm getting there. There are, you can Google it, and National Geographic did a DNA test on one of the mummies, and here it turns out more men in Britain, in the UK, and not just in Britain, in the UK, have more in common with King Tut than current modern day Egyptians do. So the theory is that Scotia, the Princess Scotia, when her parents were, they still have not found Nefertiti's grave or Akhenaten's grave. And because they were desecrated and they were wiped out or whatever, the one that escaped went to what is now we call Scotland. And they say now that that's where the term blue blood comes from, that most of the royalty in Europe is related to Scotia. Now, my next thing is then, were they Atlanteans? Because they have, when you see pictures of them, they have elongated skulls. I know your tin hat's probably not good and tight. So my next question is the current royal families of Europe, so all of them, not just the British royal families, the royal families that are all related by blood, are the current royal families of Europe, are they descendants of Atlantis by the Princess Scotia? I know, weird, hey? But inquiring minds want to know, hey, why not? Let's ask the cards. Let's have some fun with it. Is that why they're called blue bloods? And this blue color is actually associated with Atlanteans. There's a color called Egyptian blue, and they don't know how the Egyptians made it. It's only been in the last couple of years they've discovered the chemical makeup of the color that is called Egyptian blue. It's a very, very tangled web once you start exploring it. So let's see. Are any of the current royals of Europe, are any of them descendants of Atlantis? 10 of Cups, passion. Look at that on there. What's 10 of Cups? That's the family, isn't it? Let's see. Now, this is different than, is anybody alive who has direct Atlantean blood? Because the royals in Europe have interwoven and I'm just asking, did they start as Atlanteans and obviously are quite diluted today? Disappointment, 5 of Cups. Logic, 4 of Crystals. Man of Cups, surfer, surfer. Time, space, and integrity, 9 of Wands. Man of Cups, so King of Cups. Look at that, looks like an ancient horn. Time, space, so over time, 4 of Crystals, logic, integrity, and disappointment. Being unable to let go of the past. Let's keep reading. Nowhere, Sage of Crystals. Well, that's Einstein. He's long past. Nowhere, Sage of Crystals. Universe. Chariot. Inventor, Man of Crystals. Trust, 6 of Wands. Nurturing, 3 of Worlds. What's the underlying? The Moon. I think death. Wow, you know what? This is Camilla and Charles. This is Cancer and Scorpio. Eight of Worlds, change, Hermit, and Two of Wands, purity, synthesis, Eight of Crystals. I'd say yes. I'd say yes, they're ancient here, especially with the purity, the pure blood, the blue blood. Is that why they only would marry and well, breed it for show, right? Because they all had illegitimate children. They had to stay within their blue blood. They had to be, they had to marry within each other, and sometimes they went to different countries, to mix up the blood and the families. Is that why? Because they wanted to keep the blood, and I think that's also why the pharaohs married their sisters. Sister and brother would marry, because there was nobody else to marry that had that blue blood. I think yes. I think with this hermit and this purity, this is them keeping their blood closed in. I think this is closed in. But over the years, with this change, this Eight of Worlds, I think over the years it's become diluted. But I would say yes. Today's royalty are direct descendants of the people of Atlantis. And that doesn't mean that they have Atlantean ideals today. It's just, it's like saying, today's Canadians are descendants of Germans and Italians. That doesn't mean they're German and Italian anymore. It means that they're descendants of them. Versus the first question I asked, is there some Atlanteans? Those people are that the cards pointed out, they think different, they are different. And we've all met people that you're like, wow, you're really different. Like, are you not human? And it's not just Atlanteans. There's other people too, like your mass murderers that have no soul. They have no concept of right and wrong. And you just think, where's your humanity? Where's your compassion? Where's your empathy? And they just don't have any. And that's just because their DNA is a little bit different. And that was another reason I forgot to point out the back of these cards, that's the DNA strand. So that's why I wanted to ask about the DNA. So we do have 5 people who are very Atlantean, who are today within our myths. And yes, the royalty are descendants of the Atlanteans. That's where we get the term blue blood from. I found that really interesting that Camilla and Charles showed up here, and then change, and then it's about keeping the blood close. And that's why Charles had to marry Diana, is because she was an aristocrat, and that was the rules back then. I mean, William was lucky enough, he wasn't confined by that. And plus, I think they learned with Diana, just because you have those qualifications doesn't mean that it's going to work out for a marriage. Not saying anything bad about them. So yeah, a synthesis. They, as time went on, their blood just became more diluted. Just the synthesis, it all just started mixing together, with them keeping it as blue blood as they could. Well, I sure hope you enjoyed this mystery reading. I sure did. I enjoy doing these. It's such a nice break from doing the regular stuff. And let me know if there's any other kind of mysteries that you want me to read about. I find them a lot of fun. Thank you so much for watching. Take good care. Bye for now.